Alright, welcome back to Sonic Unleashed, where we are going to do Cool Edge Nighttime, which is one of my least favorite Werehog stages in the game, and that's really saying something. You know, every time I sit down to do one of these Werehog videos, I'm very remiss that I'm not playing Colors instead. Like, or Generations, you know? Or, hell, I'd rather play Lost World. It's just, while in Colors, there are aspects of that game I didn't like. For instance, I don't really particularly love the overabundance of side-scrolling missions, because if I wanted to play a 2D Sonic game, I would play 1, 2, 3, or I guess Mania now, and Knuckles. Or CD and Knuckles. You know, I'd still rather play that than anything regarding the Werehog. I was thinking about this when I was recording this, because I literally spent the entire day yesterday no-lifing this game. I just sat down and beat it because I wanted it to be completely over with, and that was a rough day. But I was thinking about a lot of things of how they can make this game better. And I think get rid of the Werehog entirely. If you want to keep these stages in here, fine. Get rid of the concept of the Werehog. Make these levels, make you play as Knuckles. Like, seriously. It makes sense. Knuckles a brawler. These stages could absolutely work if you get rid of if you get rid of the Werehog and put Knuckles into it. This would absolutely still work. Instead of having stretchy arms, you know, Knuckles can kind of glide, so you can use that to your advantage. I think that would be a really interesting way of doing this. Or if you don't want Knuckles and you still want him to, if you're really married to the ideas of the stretchiness and a Werehog-looking character, make Chip the Werehog. You know, just substitute Chip's design for the Werehog. And then you've got a better reason for Chip to really be in the game, other than the story, than he's in here in the gameplay. And you get rid of the whole nonsense of, this isn't a Sonic game. Why is Sonic so slow? Sonic's beating people up. Why is that going on? So you eliminate a whole bunch of problems just by getting rid of calling it Sonic the Werehog. You could just call it Knuckles the Echidna. Or Chip, the whatever he is. It'd be great. Also, I thought you could just break this door. But it's of course dumber than that. You have to just bring this... Again, this is more padding. This is what the Werehog didn't need. It's already long because of how slow he is. Did we need to bring this over here? Why can't I just climb up and, like, flip a switch? Or hell, the door's just open. I will never not complain about the Werehog. Like, I'm very curious to see if there are people who genuinely do like the Werehog. And, you know, more the power to you. That means you probably like more of this game than I do. Which, you know, hey, it's a good game. It's just bogged down by a lot of stupid stuff that I hate. But again, I'd much rather play Colors. Since the last time that I recorded, Sonic Forces got a release date. I think it's November 4th. So I'm pretty excited for that. This Let's Play should probably wrap up around then. Because I don't know how it's going to go still with the Halloween stuff. Because once October comes around, I'm taking a break from uploading Unleashed until one of the games is finished. And then resuming Unleashed. So it might go until around the time Forces is coming out, or it'll go through like mid-October. But yeah, I was really thinking about it. I had a revelation about Forces that I'm more excited for Sonic Forces than I am for Super Mario Odyssey, which is strange. But then I was thinking about it more, and I was thinking about how if there weren't those, like, you know, rough games for Sonic, like, in the, you know, mid-aughts, like Sonic 06, Sonic and the Secret Rings, and this game here, I would probably still be a bigger Sonic fan than a Mario fan. Because as a kid, I was pretty equal on both of them. I wasn't one of those kids that picked sides with like, oh, I grew up with a Nintendo, so I don't like Sega. Or I grew up with a Genesis, so I don't like Nintendo. You know, I grew up with both, pretty much. I never had a Genesis, but I played, you know, Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the PC, and then I got the Mega Collection and the Gems Collection on the GameCube. And Adventure 1 and 2, like, that was my jam growing up. So, you know, so was Super Mario Sunshine and Luigi's Mansion. I grew up with Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island. Those are all games that I equally loved. So it wasn't like a Sonic versus Mario thing. It was always a Sonic and Mario thing for me. But then, you know, Sonic had that dark time with Shadow and 06 and this game and Secret Rings. And that made me really, like, fall off the wagon with Sonic. And by the way, these guys keep blocking, and I don't know how to, like, break the block. So that was really annoying for me. But anyway, yeah, if it weren't for those games, I think I'd be a bigger Sonic fan than a fan of Mario at this current time. I mean, yeah, when you really think about it, Mario's had some mediocre games, like the new Super Mario Brothers games, but he doesn't have any bad games. You know, at least none that were made by Nintendo. Obviously, there's Hotel Mario, and Mario is Missing. That game was another one that I grew up with. I got that on the SNES when I was a kid, and I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. Luigi's my favorite character, and it's a game all about Luigi. But then it's one of those stupid edutainment games, which is awful. Those games are awful. And again, this is always going against my whole progress versus exploration thing. I don't know if that door was progress or if this door is progress. Obviously now it looks like this one's progress, but I'm always scared of going into the wrong room and getting sent forward instead of just exploring. And these kinds of games are particularly bad with it, because if you go the right way, they'll usually lock you out. Also, you really want to be quick in these sections, because everything falls apart. These poles fall apart, the things that we were on before fall apart, and also something kind of goofy's about to happen here. Since this area is so slippery, I'm going to go walk on this, but I am going to slip right off, die, and still hit the checkpoint somehow. So I'm really not sure how that happened. Maybe it was just because I was past the point of the checkpoint, but that doesn't seem to make sense. You'd think you'd want to actually hit the checkpoint. And whatever it was, this just didn't want to happen. So, screw it. I assume what I was trying to do was just jump and then grab it, but what I'm assuming the problem there was is that it's too icy for Sonic to grab. Because later on they'll have more rounded pipes for you to like crawl on and walk on. So Sonic won't be able to grab those because they're too rounded. And these, I'm assuming, are probably too icy for him to grab. There are a lot of Werehog areas, specifically in the final level, that you could just walk past. Like, I could have avoided most of those enemies and just hit that switch and then exited here. It would be annoying because they'd all be on you trying to hit you while you're flipping the switch, but it is possible. And I'll show that a few times during the final level. Ooh, boy. That final level, man, oh man. Can't wait to get to that video. or videos. I don't know how I'm going to split that up yet. Might be too long for one video, because screw that final level. This is just so mindless. I saw a good comment on a video about the Werehog, where the person was saying how it's such a shame that the Werehog has really cool moves, but all the enemies just have really basic punch, kick moves. And you know, you're not fighting against anything that's worthy of the moves that you have. So it just makes for a weird fighting game. Because it's like, think about it, like Bayonetta, if all the enemies were just punching and kicking you. Like, that's boring. Bayonetta would be infinitely worse if that was the case. And I mean, hey, they're both Sega, so I guess they learned. Imagine this game with Bayonetta controls. That would even be better. Because guess what? Bayonetta's fast. I'd love to see the Werehog go into Witch Time. I think that'd be pretty great. They really should have picked one style for the Werehog. Make him either a platforming heavy character or a combat heavy character. Because I've said it before, I actually like the platforming with the Werehog. I like that you use his stretchy arms to grab things. I like, you know, it's just not bad. It's the least offensive part of the Werehog gameplay. Everything else is bad. This section doesn't make me want to kill myself, whereas the fighting sections do. Especially as the game goes on. Later and later throughout the game, the enemies do more damage to you, while still doing the same attacks, of course, and they have more health. It's the dumb artificial difficulty. And that's the thing with this game in terms of difficulty, is that there's a very fine line between difficult and bad. And this game definitely toes that line very, very not so well, because there are some frustrating parts in this game, and you know, there are points where I don't know if it's because I'm bad at the game or because the game is just, you know, designed poorly. And that's definitely one of those issues that is going to make or break your enjoyment of this game. If you like difficulty and don't see it as your own faults or the game's faults, then you're not going to enjoy this game as much as someone like me who likes difficulty, but dumb difficulty is like the biggest pet peeve. And this game is the quintessential reference of dumb difficulty. You were to look up the words dumb difficulty in the dictionary, you'd find a picture of the Werehog. And it would say, see also Eggman Land. We'll get to that when we get to it. And you know what? Aesthetically, this is one of the best looking Werehog stages in the game for sure. It's got a, pardon the pun, it's got a chill soundtrack. You've to stay cool. Freeze. Ice. Bird boy. You have to ice freeze. Cold. Gotham is cold. Freeze. This didn't look like it worked, but it did. You have to just melt it a little bit and then you beat it up. So I don't really know what they were doing with that, because it doesn't look like it worked. There should have been some sort of indication that it did. Or maybe I'm just a stupid big dumb idiot. But again, that's progress, this is exploration. Even though that looked like progress, so... Honestly, the ice physics probably are the least offensive part about this level. Especially when normal Sonic controls way slipperier than the actual ice physics in the game. So I'm already used to having to correct myself and try not to, you know, float all over the place. So at this point of the game, you should be used to floaty slipperiness. I would like to talk about the fact that since I'm doing this Let's Play post-commentary, I've had to sit through this Werehog footage more times than I could possibly ever want to, and that, I think, is actually hell. Like, I don't believe in an afterlife, but when I die, and if there is a hell, this is it. It's just I'm gonna have to look at Werehog footage for the rest of my life. Because first, I have to play the game, and see the Werehog footage for the first time. Then the second time, I have to edit the Werehog stages. Then the third time, I have to commentate over it. Then the fourth time, I have to edit the commentary over the Werehog footage. Then the fifth time, I have to watch it all the way through just to make sure nothing's wrong. So I have to sit through this Werehog shit 5 times. That's not okay. Also, that one enemy that's about to do like a really comedic thing across the screen like that, where he's just running around, he dies. Like, one of the other enemies hit him, and he just dies off screen. Which I think is actually pretty funny. And I like that the enemies can take themselves out like that. So yeah, the combat at this point started to get really, really infuriating for me because a lot of these enemies just started blocking, and I didn't know how to break their guard, which is really obnoxious. And, you know, the best way to do it is to just press the circle button and do the QuickTime event finisher on them, but I'm really not good at those for a myriad of reasons. I don't do good with QuickTime events under pressure, and these are all under pressure because they're all very quick, hence the name QuickTime events. But also, sometimes the frame rate in this game is so janky that you have less time to know what button you're pressing, and it makes for a really terrible experience. So I try and avoid the QuickTime events as much as possible. It's good to build your Unleash meter and just go nuts on a big group of enemies rather than try and break them down, break their guard, and then just murder them all. Why am I going back up here? Oh, because there's an area up here. Yeah, sun medals. I think there's like under 10 minutes left, and I've already, like, I'm out of things to talk about. Talked about Sonic Forces. Talked about other things. So I don't know what to talk about. That was bullshit. Actually, that really wasn't quite my fault. What happened there was I was too close to the edge of the platform and I just walked off it. And even though it looked like the game dropped my jump input, that wasn't at all what happened. And that's pretty common in Sonic games. See, these parts can be fun. That's the thing that I hate about the Werehog, is that there's a lot of promise in here, but they blow it every single chance they can get. I like the sliding down parts, having to do well-timed jumps to get off. You know, these platforms fall. Then there's this, which it's stupid because you could see there it did target that icicle, but it just didn't. Like, I pressed the button, and I'm gonna DSP out here for a second, but I legitimately did press that button and nothing happened. And it could be very wonky at times. There are certain levels later on where that's gonna be even bigger of a problem. I don't know why those saw blades are here. I don't know why the saw blades are in this game, period. I think in this entire Let's Play, I only get hit by one of them. And it was my own fault, because I was going too fast. These, when you're going really slow, and when they are also going very slow, there's no reason you should ever get hit by one of those saw blades. They really should have just renamed this game Sonic Really Hates Snowmen. Because the amount of snowmen that I've beaten up in this game is unprecedented. Like, I don't think I've beaten up... Actually, now that I think about it, you beat up a lot of snowmen in Sonic Lost World as well. I would actually like to do a side-by-side, like, breakdown of Sonic Lost World and Unleashed, because they are very similar games. They're both games that tried something new, while I think Lost World fared a little... I don't know. Because the boost gameplay in this game obviously is fucking great, and the fact that they went forward with it in Colors and Generations and refined it is a good thing. But then there's the Werehog, which is really experimental and dumb, just like a lot of things in Lost World that were experimental and dumb. So I don't know, I would say this game is definitely way better than... I don't know, is it though? Lost World's a lot of fun when it's good. And it's got great music, it's got... I mean, it's the better writing, it's when they stop taking themselves so seriously, which is a good thing. And they introduced a lot of new stuff in that game, but man, when that game's bad, it's bad. But when it's good, it's great. Same with this game. I'd say that they're like tied, probably, with Lost World maybe edging out a little bit. Because I'd much rather play anything in Lost World than ever sit through another Werehog stage ever again. And yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where I don't think there's going to be any Werehog sections that get sped up. We're sitting through all of this. The true Sonic Unleashed experience. It's only fair. Same with the last level. Nothing there is getting cut out. You're getting the raw experience of the final level. I don't know why I came down here. Was there a reason for that? Or was it just enemies? Oh, no, it's because it spawned this guy. I don't know why is this level reminding me of Matt Damon's Planet from Interstellar? That movie's so good. Random shout out of the video, go watch Interstellar, it's a great movie. It's me, Matthew McConaughey, I'm stuck in space. Gotta find my daughter Murph. Gotta talk to her through a bookcase in a black hole. What? That really doesn't make sense when I say it like that. It sounds more like Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that werehog. I don't even want to think about that. And yeah, here's where they start. I think this is the first level where they start introducing these gun enemies. They're really annoying, but I'd actually say that they're less annoying than the ones that guard, like, all the time. Because all you gotta do is just go up to them and punch them and then they're dead. As long as you shield yourself, they're not an issue. I think it would have been cool to have been able to put up your shield and deflect their bullets back at them. That would have been like a cool little mechanic for this game, but that is not something that you can do in this game. And these wizard guys, man, there's a level coming up with these wizard guys that are the worst. They make these guys go from a, like, kind of inconvenient enemy sometimes to, holy shit, I wish I could just blow every single one of them up. Also, I'm gonna say this right now so that when I finally do Let's Play Sonic Forces, I can come back to this very moment. and stick it in everyone's faces. I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction that Infinite, I think the character's name is, he's Sonic from the future. I'm just gonna put that out there. And then, like I said, when I'm right about it, because I'm always right, I could put this clip in there. Also, finally, we're done with the level. This is, I think, the last of the truly, like, terrible Werehog levels for at least a little bit now. And with that, that is the end of the really bad Werehog levels, at least for the moment. So I will see you in the next video, where we fight a pretty alright boss. So, see you then. I did not have sexual relations with that Werehog.